his left, Jess on his right. Hey, hold up, don't start a fight. He's got you covered with all the sports. Don't fret, he's wearing shorts. It's time for Waking Jake in the morning, Waking Jake at night. Jake sucks.
Woo! Good morning, bakers. Gobble, gobble. Gotcha. As it's Thanksgiving week, it's November 21st, my engage-anniversary.
My mom's birthday.
Your mom's birthday. My friend Katie B's birthday. So, happy birthday to everyone who celebrates on November 21st. Clean-shaven BBD.
Yeah.
Sheesh. We're back. What sparked it?
Grammy's funeral is this weekend. She hated the beard.
Wow. A tribute. We love you, Grammy. Big Thanksgiving's a good sports week. World Cup.
Yeah.
Hello. It started yesterday. Sorry for all of our Qatar listeners. Go down 2-0. Iran is getting beat up right now by England. U.S. plays later today. Excited for that. Excited to get lost in it. I no intrinsic World Cup knowledge anymore. I don't play FIFA a lot. I don't play FIFA at all. I guess that's another way to say it. But I don't know. Excited to watch. It's an awesome world event. The Qatar stuff sucks.
Yeah.
You really dive into that, and you're like, what the hell are we doing? It's 2022. We've got, in baseball, kind of the all-free agent team that you talk yourself into signing. The guys that, when you're doing your off-season plan, you're almost looking for a way to work them in. And we'll do the football from the weekend, and if we stumble into anything else, we'll stumble into it and stumble into Match 5. The diehards probably remember Match 5, a little JJR. A lot of places in John Boy Media. Match 5 is the easiest board game to play. Is it a board game? Is it a card game? It's a little bit of both. And basically, you just have to match. So if BBD was the host and he said, name your 5 best soccer countries, I'd be like, okay, I don't know, like Brazil. Maybe he'd say like Germany, England, Spain. Did I say that? And France? Is that 5? Was that 6? How many did I get?
I think you listed 5, and then you mentioned at least a 6th on there. I probably would have mixed Italy in. I don't know if they're actually good, but I would have said it.
And that would have been my reaction because I wouldn't have matched. So I would have got 4 points. Maybe Jim's here. Maybe Baby James is here. They would have got 5. That's how you play Match 5, and you can save 15% off when you order now by using code JOHNBOY at Match5, the number 5, trivia.com. Match5trivia.com. 15% by entering code JOHNBOY. Perfect for the holiday season. Play with family, friends, whoever you want. Thank you to Match 5. And now we're going to match 5 free agents. No, we're not going to exactly do that. Although I've got a couple leans on a couple, but it's also me talking myself out of it. The whole reason we got here is Cody Bellinger. Cody Bellinger is one of the more intriguing free agents you'll see. He is 27 years old. He has a Rookie of the Year in the bag. He has an MVP in the bag. He is a 2-time All-Star, Gold Glove, Silver Slugger. Man, his stats the last 2 years are a disaster. They are linked closely to his shoulder injury. I mean, his 2021 is as bad as it gets. As bad as you'll see a player have. 165 batting average, a 240 on base, a 542 OPS.
It's hard to get numbers like that playing as much as he did.
One of the worst starter seasons ever, and when you combine him with this year where he was 210, 265, a 654 OPS, I mean, they combined for, I think he was the worst starter in Major League Baseball the last 2 years. Before that, again, I mentioned MVP, Rookie of the Year. You know, Rookie of the Year is not always the best thing, but Rookie of the Year MVP types are normally
And we cross both off that list.
Those are connected as like a special group of people when you do that in your career. It's a little bit of a weird thing that doesn't matter. But Cody Bellinger, through 2019 and hell, even through 2020 when they win the World Series, he wins CS MVP. He had a 911 OPS through like age 24, 25. That's crazy. 506 games. He was averaging 126 games, but that includes the shortened season. 31 homers per 162. He was basically a 40-homer guy, a 911 OPS, a guy that could play every outfield position well. Do you remember some of the balls he tracked down in center field during that postseason? He still has that. He's still tracking down balls. He played first base, too. Remember, they used to do a lot more of that. Last year, he played only center field. How about that? And that's why he racked up a positive WAR. With all of that offensive statistics stinking, he racked up a positive WAR. And there are positives from the offensive side. Even though it wasn't good last year, he was on the way up. His slugging went up, basically 90 points. The batting average, on-base percentage, OPS, they all went up. I know they had to, but the question is his shoulder, and we saw him hurt it. We saw him hurt it in the postseason. That celebration stunk, and you hate it for him. He's 27. He is friends with Cole Tuck, our friend Cole Tucker, and I remember I felt like a horse's ass during the live stream, which is pretty rare for me to feel like a horse's ass. But we're talking about Cody, and I think we kind of mentioned that, it's probably done in LA. And I was like, damn, weird sport. And I was like, has he really been injured? Because I was just thinking of this year. And Cole was like, shoulder, bro. I was like, oh, yeah.
Like a big one.
Yes. The whole reason we've got here, yes. So the whole point of this is Cody Bellinger is a free agent at 27. Boris has come out and said he wants to do a 1-year deal. He said he already has offer for 2-year deals. And he, probably has another bunch of weird quotes because he's Scott Boras. But the whole point of it is free agency. Whoever signs Cody Bellinger, let's say someone talks themselves into 1 for 10, maybe 1 for 12. I don't know. 1-year contracts in
maybe
baseball.
Some funky options or whatever get you to a weird spot. But yeah,
there's teams in baseball that, a 1-year contract can't hurt you. And if he could play center field defensively every day or even be a defensive replacement or platoon guy, you can make that value back in what Cody Bellinger can do. Never mind if he gets better, if that shoulder gets fully healthy, if that shoulder just gets more healthy. If he takes similar jumps that he did to last year, which isn't fair, but let's say it is, Cody Bellinger jumps up to being like a plus player again. So we will see. Definitely it feels like, a change of scenery is going to happen. I think the Dodgers have, they're ready to move on. And
they did move on.
And you wonder what is the right landing spot for Cody Bellinger. Normally in these situations, I'll reference my guy Miguel Andujar. I was pretty happy Miguel Andujar ended up with the Pirates because he's going to get a bunch of at-bats, and we're going to find out if he can hit. Cody Bellinger, I don't know. He's got a ton of playoff experience. You wonder, is this one of those weird Rays moves where they, the Rays are going to be competitive and they have a really good coaching staff and maybe can tap into him for a year, and if not, they trade him at the deadline or they let it move? I think a competitive team, or at least a borderline competitive team, right, has to talk themselves into Cody Bellinger.
I think the one I've seen the most chatter with is the Cubs, which that kind of tracks center field and get another lefty threat in there. If they're a team that can accidentally become pretty competitive without too many more things going right.
Right, it's
in the realm.
If they could take a semi leap, but the point is, BBD, we're Yankees fans. That's been revealed. Spoiler. If we found out the Yankees signed Cody Bellinger to a 1-year, $10 million deal, what would your reaction be?
You shrug and we talk ourselves into it, which is the the whole exercise.
Yeah,
You're getting a guy who's going to play a good center field, run the bases pretty well, and be a threat to hit a homer as a lefty.
For the Yankees, you get left field and center field.
Yeah, whichever plug you need.
If he finds it and he can find the short porch a couple more times, like you super talk yourself into it. This is supposed to be a player in his prime that hopefully is getting healthier. So with that,
he's only 27 right now. Like I say a lot. How many guys in baseball figure it out at 28? He happened to figure it out at like 22 at one point, but
he has the recipe, we think, and maybe there's some batting stance changes. I know. When his batting stance worked, you don't say anything. When his batting stance doesn't work, you say a lot of stuff because he just looks kind of bored and not ready at the plate. Again, it's a little bit playing the results, but who knows? Maybe this is the year where he tries to tap into something a little different there, timing-wise, or it's just that shoulder, and maybe it gets better, maybe it doesn't. But either way, if Cody Bellinger is 27 years old, finds his way into your team, you say, all right, let's roll it out there, because either way, he's not the solution or the plan. It's adding a potential piece where, and I don't want this to be shots fired because a lot of people in baseball are actually pretty okay with the signing. Tyler Anderson with the Angels. They signed him. If you're the Angels and you said, I hope we sign 2 starting pitchers or at least 1 starting pitcher this free agency, I don't know how high Tyler Anderson would have been on your list. But that kind of affects the rest of your offseason. I guess maybe if he's your second starting pitcher, you've resigned and you're the Angels, you could be excited about that. Cody Bellinger really shouldn't change your plans.
If he's the plan A, yeah, sure, that's not what you want. But I don't think he's getting any sort of deal that's going to inhibit you from doing other things.
Like I know the other team that I've seen on the timeline, fan base that's very interested in Cody Bellinger, Colorado Rockies, because I think he's torched them. They need outfield help, and that could be your potential resurgence. And the Rockies think they're something they're not. They were also the first Nimmo rumor. Remember that?
Yeah.
By the way, and I got to give Kenny Rosenthal the shout-out for this. Nimmo, I'd been thinking of him as almost George Springer-ish, like center field. I know he's lefty, obviously, but I don't know, just an outfielder of that age, and he's going to get paid, and I keep linking him to Toronto in my head, so maybe that's why I'm doing it. Kenny pulled out the dagger a little bit, and it's a little unfair, and Kenny said it, but he said Ellsbury for his free agency, which Ellsbury was a lot more on speed. And
Nimmo has that as well, but
and Nimmo's injury history is a little less than that. Like Jacoby was injured. I don't know, but when I heard that, I was like, ooh. And it's funny because every time we start hearing Brandon Nimmo's name, the number keeps going up. That it was at like 5 for 100, and then it was like, well, maybe a team will go 6-125. The Rockies had their rumor out there, and now the Ellsbury contract, I think, was 7 for 133 or something like that.
Something like that. He is the same age Ellsbury was at free agency. I thought Ellsbury was at least like a year or 2 older.
That was a good snag by Kenny R. But the point is, if your team on his savant, if your team throws out 6 years and big money for Nimmo, you're like, okay, I hope he's a game-changing player for us. We'll figure it out. Cody Bellinger, you're taking a light shot, and there's a couple other guys.
Because your team's going for Nimmo, that is like your move this off.
It's an impact move. Like he had a great
almost
year.
Certainly, unless your team also signs DeGrom or something.
He had
the move this offseason.
We added center fielder to all JM team for a reason, because it's not easy to do, and he was in the running for all JM center fielder all year. So the other guys that if they sign on your team, you're going to be able to talk yourself into 100%. I've got 2 at first base that are very different flavors. I'll keep it the same thing to not lose you guys yet. Dom Smith, the Mets DFA'd, or what's the phrase? Non-tendered.
Non-tendered.
Excuse me.
Some guys were DFA'd before the deadline.
Yeah.
non-tender to the, I guess, is the catch-all.
Dom Smith, a big prospect for a while. 2019, he gets 89 games a run to the tune of 282, 355, and 881 OPS. That's a 132 OPS plus. He's playing first base and some corner outfield. It doesn't look like he necessarily loves any of those positions. The 2020 shortened season, 316, 377, and 993 OPS, 168 OPS plus. He gets MVP votes. He gets his full run the next year in 2021. And it just doesn't happen. 244, 304, 667. And last year, it's even worse than that. Limited playing time, 194, 560 OPS. He gets the change of scenery. He feels more like bad team guy. Not to be rude to Dom Smith, but he's the guy that even, his one full season of run ended up being a bad season. And maybe that's what it is. But he needs that kind of full leash. Like, he needs that. Pirates, I know Cincinnati Reds, they've got a guy at first base over there. But he needs a team to put him out there and let him run. He is also 27 years old. It could still very much click. It felt like he never got the full opportunity. And the contract you're going to sign him for, you're going to say, well, shoot, we might have just stumbled into an everyday DH that can give us an 800 OPS, or he's a guy that doesn't make it to the trade deadline on this team. And that's fine. So any team will talk himself into. This guy is probably the most oddball on the scale. It's our friend Matt Carpenter, who tore it up for the Yankees this year. Matt Carpenter, you're like, yeah, sure. I know Matty Carpenter, from the Cardinals, right? Well, first base, third base, slap it around a little. He had a couple, some big boy years in the mid-teens there, right? He was out of baseball. It's done. He goes to a bunch of swing people to try to work on his swing. Goes to Texas Rangers. They don't put him on the roster. He goes to the minor leagues. They let him go after a month, kind of a respect veteran thing. I think it was in his contract, too. Yankees pick him up at the right moment. Everyone's like, okay. He played 47 games and 154 plate appearances. So we're talking all in a month and a half sample. I think, it's more so over 2 months with the Yankees, as he wasn't getting everyday playing time. When he played, he was insane. And my going away stance, I said on Talking Yanks a bunch. 305 batting average, 412 on base, a 1.138 OPS. It was the best 100 at-bats we saw in baseball this year. His numbers are better than Judge. Obviously, smaller sample. If this dude ends up on your team for a 1-for-5, which I don't know if he's even going to get that, he kind of played some defensive positions. He played an okay corner outfield, and
if one of your corners is small, he's probably gonna play a decent outfield, little first, little third, even with the
very
Yanks.
limited run. Yeah, that first base is probably your safest bet, but this guy you're easily gonna talk yourself into because the risk reward of it. If you can somehow tap into last year, even if it's 80% of that, you're still getting a great hitter. And it's like he has the resume. So does Cody. So does Dom in a way that these guys, I feel like if you go to your teams, I still don't know what to name this list. Like every team's Reddit forum list of guys that they hope end up on their team.
It said like the guy you talk yourself into, or
like it's it's
like a little less than that. It's like you want to take it. You're happy to take a chance on him.
Fangraphs has Matt Carpenter getting a 1-year, $6 million deal. Fangraphs has Josh Bell getting 3 for $39. In next season, Matt Carpenter could be a more effective player than Josh Bell. It's a little bit of a reach, but that's the reason why that money is exchanging hands. You're going to be able to talk yourself into that guy. The rest of the way,
I found the other one that we should give like a few minutes to. Conforto. I think a lot of people.
Conforto's
talk
a weird
themselves into
one.
Lefty bat, short-term deal.
I stumbled into a buzzsaw with Conforto a little bit because I did my all free agent team and I put him out there. Yes, you will be able to talk yourself into Michael Conforto. I think the numbers are going to be real. I don't know if we've had the Michael Conforto tryout sesh yet, where all the beat reporters are like, he looks good, but we need that because apparently he got jacked up. I mean, he didn't play.
Yeah.
Like, he was a guy that people were thinking was going to get a $100 million contract.
Did you see the rumor going around?
You told me.
In August, he had an offer on the table from Houston to hop on, basically. That happened?
Kind of wish that happened.
Yeah. Decided to wait it out, do real free agency.
You're right from the aspect of you will talk yourself into Michael Conforto. You'll look at the stats and say, we got him for 2 for 20 or 1 for 12 with an option for 14 the next year. And you'll be like, if this guy plays to his baseball card, you're going to talk yourself into that. I still think, though.
And he shouldn't be your team's, like, the big move of the offseason. It's kind of where I'm going with it.
I guess the thing is, if you're bringing in Michael Conforto, I think if you're a baseball team, you're giving him a full season to go. Where if Cody Bellinger comes in and he looks terrible for 2 months, you're pulling the plug. And Matt Carpenter comes in and he looks bad for 2 months, you're pulling the plug.
He's old. You're on the bench now. Yeah,
Dom
that is
Smith,
a difference.
same thing. I think Michael Conforto, if he comes in,
he's going to be
you're giving him the
left
year.
Fielder. Right fielder.
Or like up to the day of the deadline, kind of like the Yankees did with Gallo. Like you're gonna find out.
That's a good point.
So that I guess that's the mindset. I still don't know how to fully do that. The other guys that popped up for me, Adam Frazier, obviously a talking baseball favorite. He just really had a bad year going into free agency. He's a guy that you're gonna like for. He's got a little bit of position versatility. Actually, he played a lot of positions last year. Sheesh.
Yeah. He played a lot early in his career, then stopped playing it as much in last year. Back to it.
It's tough because he had that. He's an all-star with the Pirates. 98 games, 324, 388, 836 OPS. He was kind of doing like a Benintendi with more pop to make the all-star team. His next 200 games, Padres and Seattle, just have not been good. Again, I think if your team brings in Adam Frazier, he's gonna be 31. Yes, he turns 31 December 14th, coming up. Get your birthday wishes ready. That you're gonna say like, okay, lefty slapping Adam Frazier, hitting 7th or 8th, playing left field, second base, wherever we need him. You talk yourself into that guy. His is a little more, I don't know. It just depends what team he lands on. If he lands on, say, the Yankees signed him, I think you're looking at him as a super util, and when he gets his run, he hopes to click. Or any of the contending teams. If
someone gets hurt and you got to play him for a month, you're okay with it as your 8-9 hitter.
If he lands on a lesser middling team, they're hoping that he taps into Adam Frazier from 2018 through the start of 2021, where he was a 281, 343, 759 OPS, which he can be. So
it's like the Reds hoping to repeat what Drury just did.
Yeah, it's a little less high risk, high reward on Adam Frazier. They think he's going to get 2 for 16 on Fangraphs. I'd be surprised. He fell off the cliff pretty hard. We like Adam Frazier. We support Adam Frazier.
Yeah. If your team signs him, you get interested, especially if he's going to be, bonus piece, potentially off the bench guy. High contact, lefty bat, plays everywhere. I don't know.
Your third baseman would be quick. It's our friend Evan Longoria, veteran. Still hits. He's looking to join a contender. So for any contending team, just to have him in the mix. And you're not going to sign him as an everyday guy. He's going to be 37. But he still hit, even last year. And he said he's open to playing some first base, too. So a little third base, first base, lefty platoon guy. I mean, does that sounds Dodgery or a return to the Rays? How sick would that be? Ooh,
that
stinky. You could put Brian Anderson in the same boat. I don't know. I don't have my full scouting reports on him, but you'll talk himself into some of the old hitting. And then in the outfield, and San Francisco Giants just need to stop coming to my mind, and maybe, hopefully, it's when they lose out on the Judge bidding battle. A couple of guys jumped out to me in the outfield. Mitch Haniger shouldn't really count. He's a guy that kind of in the same ilk as Conforto. If your team signs him, Mitch Haniger's going to be starting, and he's going to get a lot of run. He's just got some stats the past couple years that a team is going to give him a real contract. He feels San Francisco Giant-y to me. His last, and you can extrapolate this, but his last 214 games, he's hitting homers at a 38-homer pace. There's a little like Schwarber, right-handed Schwarber light stuff going on here. If you go back before that, he's got 3 seasons with OPSs in the 800s. He's a little too good for this list, a la Conforto. I kind of hope the same time signs Haniger or Conforto. The only thing that would tell me Mitch Haniger's not going to be a San Francisco Giant is because I have a better platoon match for them. They signed Jock Peterson with the qualifying offer, the one year 19.7. Jock Peterson, obviously a lot better versus righties. You don't want to play him in the outfield every day. The Giants love veterans and kind of keeping them off their feet. A.J. Pollock. 35 years old. He played 137 games in the outfield last year, including 37 in center field. He mauled against left-handed pitching, and most importantly, he was in that White Sox just garbage season. That he's got to escape that mess, and if they could keep him fresh, and so A.J. Pollock is on the list of the, if you sign him, you will talk yourself into him, because his last couple years, the pop is still there. I don't think you want to,
especially versus lefties.
I don't think you want to play him every day. His 2 seasons leading into last year, where again he was part of that dumpster fire, he was averaging 35 homers, 162 games, 290, 342, and 888 OPS. Remember when he was going nuts for the Dodgers in 21? He did that in 22. He is the type of guy that if he ends up on your team, I don't think you're expecting an everyday A.J. Pollock at 35 years old to be the impact piece. But could A.J. Pollock play 112 games for you, maul against lefties, fill in when you need against righties, and be a factor for you? Absolutely. I'm keeping Gallo off the list. I'm even going to keep Trey Mancini off the list because I think you're going to talk yourself into Trey Mancini easily. David Peralta just misses 2. Tyler Naquin, I still don't know if that's how you say it. Jerry Blevins told us Naquin. Jimmy was on a big Naquin kick for a while. So I'm going to ignore that. But that's kind of the all you're going to talk yourself into these guys on the low with a potential to be really good. Also potential to kind of be bad. So I guess it turned into age or value between Pollock, Longoria, or Carpenter, or Dom Smith, Cody Bellinger. Is there another young guy?
No, I think
Rafael Ortega, 32 years old. How about that? So that's that list. I think it might be time to talk some football.